As COVID-19 restrictions begin to fade and Canadians return to the office with new priorities, experts say a mass wave of employees saying, "I quit," could trigger labor shortages in a number of sectors. Joining us with more on this is Tobin, the Executive Director of the Labour Market Information Council. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So according to Statistics Canada, 22% of Canadian businesses suspect retaining skilled employees is going to be an obstacle. So why do you think that is?
Yeah, I think we have to start by the fact that the challenge of retaining and keeping skilled talent was something that was there before the pandemic. And I think 2 years ago, that was maybe a little bit easier to understand, right? Job market was in much better shape. And so the idea that employers were having difficulties kind of finding and retaining talent was, something sort of par for the course. But now I think with unemployment still kind of elevated, employment still below pre-pandemic levels, this notion that employers are having difficulty finding people doesn't quite necessarily sit so well. And so, look, I think the reality is that the last 18 months have been, marked by considerable turmoil. And so the dust is very much still settling on the labor market. And I think employees and employers are still kind of navigating this sort of new reality and figuring out what the job market will look like.
Yeah, navigating is a good word to use for where we're at right now. And when we look to the States, according to the U.S. Department of Labor statistics, the share of U.S. workers leaving jobs in April was almost 3%, nearly double what it was a year earlier, and the highest it's been in more than 20 years. Do you expect us to see similar numbers to that?
We don't have any sort of early indications of what's happening in Canada's labor market yet, but I think, look, what's clear is the pandemic has, I guess, offered us an opportunity to sort of question what's really important to us. And I think the work that we do is a big part of that equation. And so as I think about kind of Canada's job market right now, I really kind of see two categories of workers. Certainly those that can work from home, and then those that obviously where some sort of personal interaction is sort of required. And I think thinking about those as two very distinct sort of segments of the workforce and what sort of churn might come into play, I think is sort of very important as to how we think about those differently. For instance, working from home, I think by and large, we can say that we've busted this myth that, employees are not productive at home. And by and large, the pandemic has demonstrated that we can be. But it hasn't been all sort of roses and sunshine, if I could put it that way, right? Lots of people struggling, work, family responsibilities. And so I think when workers are thinking about changing in that sphere, flexibility is going to be very important in terms of how we keep and retain that talent. Whereas I think it's a different set of problems for those that require more personal interaction, whether it's accommodation, food, retail, restaurants, hospitality. And so I think there, rightfully so, workers have been through a number of challenges, right? Openings, closings, bringing people back. And so there's been a lot of uncertainty as to their sort of job prospects. And so there, I think workers are rightfully thinking, well, do I need more security? Right. And what does some of my working conditions look like? And I think as we think about the workforce going forward and that kind of mass exodus, which we haven't quite seen yet, I think the challenges facing both these streams of workers will be very different.
Stephen, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Great. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.